EuroKitchen is Anna's kitchen, but it's your kitchen and it's everybody's kitchen. If you want to try a place where the food's finger licking, just come on in to the EuroKitchen. Anna's always cooking food that looks and smells so good. It's fine cuisine from all corners of the world, right in your neighborhood. It's Italian dinners and Portuguese fare. It's Francais food with a European flair. You can stop right here with all your channels switching and pull up a chair in the EuroKitchen. Anna's EuroKitchen.
Hi, I'm Anna Marie and welcome to my EuroKitchen. Today we're doing a great recipe for eggplant. I know a lot of times people are always wondering, like, what can you do with eggplant besides eggplant parmesan? This recipe came to me from one summer when I had so much eggplant in my garden. I mean, I made eggplant salad and I canned it and I made eggplant parmesan, and then one day I thought, pasta, eggplant. Why not put the two of them together? And that's what we're going to do today. We're making an eggplant timbale. That's what I call it. You can call it an eggplant tort, whatever you'd like. But what I'm going to use is penne pasta. This is penne pasta. It's a little bit thinner than your typical rigatoni. And I have to tell you a funny story growing up. My dad was Irish. My mother was Italian from Italy. And every time my dad wanted rigatoni, he'd say to my mom, can you make some sore pipes for dinner? I used to think, sore pipes? But that's what he associated with. He was in construction. He wanted sore pipes for dinner. So this recipe is so easy. Usually one eggplant is plenty for everybody. So it's an eggplant. You want to have your pasta, whether it's rigatoni or penne. You're going to need some breadcrumbs. You're going to need an egg for dipping. And then I like to use a little bit of cheese as I'm going to put it in. I use my spaghetti sauce, and I made some little meatballs to go in with it. You can use jar sauce, whatever kind of sauce you want to put with it. There's some great sauces on the market. There's a great sauce out now with artichokes that's really, really good. So I'm going to get started and show you something. What I like to do with eggplant, because people always ask me all the time, what do you do with your eggplant that it tastes different? I always salt it. That's just something my mother always taught me. So I did these. I usually do them like the night before. So what I do is I slice my eggplant. I usually put it on a board. I salt it. I'll put some paper towels over it and like a heavy weight on it. You don't have to. This one I just salted. But I just wanted to show you. You see the juices that run off of it, these brown juices? These are the bitter juices that are in the eggplant. So you want to get rid of that before you make anything, whether it's eggplant, parmesan, whatever you're doing. So what I do with it is after I see it's like that, I just have salted it. So I'll just take my napkins and I just want to get up all those bitter juices that are on there. So this is just regular table salt that I salted. And I just put it on here. Sometimes I'll put it like lined in a colander and then I'll fill a bowl with water and set it right on top, and that'll be enough pressure to do that. But if I'm not in a hurry, like I did this last night, I just let them get all that brown juice out of there. Okay, so they're salted, so I don't have to resalt them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to fry them. And what I do is I dip them in my egg wash, which is just egg and water. Then I'm going to dip them in breadcrumbs that are just seasoned with some Italian seasoning. We'll fry them up. I'm going to grease with some Crisco, whatever kind of container you want to use. I just use a glass bowl. It can be metal, whatever you want, but I like the round shape to make the timbale because you're going to see how pretty this is. So let's get started by frying the eggplant. So we'll bring this over to the stove. And I like to use Crisco. I just find Crisco is really good for frying and it's fast. So I have my heat up on here. And let's see, got my breadcrumbs. So we'll bring these over here. And I just like to keep either paper towels. This is just cardboard, or I use paper bags. This actually is just my little Diet Coke container, but it's great because it absorbs all that oil. So we're going to take the egg wash. So this is just 2 eggs. I put a little bit of water in with it. Didn't put any seasoning or anything because I'd already salted my eggplant. So what we're going to do is we're going to dip the eggplant into the egg wash, and then we're going to dip it into the breadcrumbs. And you just want to lightly fry these. You just want to see how thin and bendable they are. That's how I want it when I'm making this timbale. So I'm just going to get these fried, and I'm going to take you right from the beginning to the end of this recipe. But I just love eggplant. When I was growing up and my mom would be making eggplant, I would be standing behind her and I'd like be sneaking and taking the eggplant. I love eggplant, especially when it's fried. It's so good. But this is a great recipe. Let's see if these are ready to turn over. And they are. You want them nice and brown, but like I said, you don't want to overcook them. So this will just go a few minutes. We'll get this one done with breadcrumbs. But this is such a good recipe, and it looks so pretty, like if you're having company in that. But I love pasta, and I love eggplant, and I thought, hey, why not put the two of them together? So I think you're going to really, really enjoy this recipe. And it's just so easy to make. And like I said, you can do this ahead of time with the eggplant by salting it. I'm going to actually move this over here so I can take these ones off. So I didn't let them stay too long. It's just a few minutes on each side. I'm going to take them out, put them on my cardboard. You can use paper towels. You just want to get a little bit of that oil off of here. Okay, get the rest of these fried. But this is such a nice dish. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes you might not get these long slices. You might get little ones, but that's okay. I'll show you. You can put them on the bottom of it. So we'll get a couple more of these in the pan. And what I love about Crisco is a lot of times when you're using oil, I never really use olive oil when I'm frying, but you have to keep changing the oil. What I find with Crisco is my breadcrumbs will go to the bottom. They're not at the top of the pan. It doesn't get brown. I just keep adding more Crisco if I need it. So I love frying with that. Okay, we're going to get these last few ones done and get them in. And this should be enough for our tambali. Okay, so we're almost finished here. Let those little pieces, I'll get this out of the way. Yeah, my mom used to get so mad at me because she'd have these all laid out, all the eggplant for dinner, and she'd be like, Anna Marie, were you touching those? Oh my gosh, I could just eat this like it is now. Okay, so we're going to push this to the back. I'm just going to take some Crisco, and my hands are clean. I just want to put it on this, just want to grease the bowl up, and then what I'm going to do is take my breadcrumbs, and I'm going to go all around the bowl, and it's going to be a coating on the bowl for the eggplant. So just go all around. You could do this, it doesn't have to be a glass bowl like I said, whatever bowl you want to use, but I just want to get that all greased up. Okay, so that's a good coating. Put this aside, just wipe off my hands. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some breadcrumbs, and I just like to use seasoned breadcrumbs. I'm just going to put some in the bowl. Okay, and you'll see there's already Italian seasoning in them. When you buy your breadcrumbs, you can buy plain or with Italian seasoning. I like to make mine fresh with day-old bread, but just showing you this. So we're just going to go around this bowl, just like when you're making a cake and you're flouring the pan. We're going to go around and we're going to coat this. So this is going to coat the whole bowl. It's going to look really pretty with that eggplant. So I just want to go around here, make sure I get every inch of this covered with this breadcrumb mixture. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let me get this end here. Okay, I'm going to bring my pot of pasta to the front here, take the lid off, and I'll just show you, it's just my penne pasta. That's all that's in here. So what I'm going to do to it is, I made my sauce, and what I did, like I said, is I made little tiny meatballs. So if you can see them, there's just like little tiny meatballs. I thought it'd just be a nice little treat to add it to that. So I'm just going to put enough sauce in here to really coat that pasta. And then what you can do is have a little bowl of sauce on your table. So if it's a little dry after you bake it, your company can go ahead and add sauce with it. So let's get this stirred. Get this pasta all combined with this sauce. Oh, it smells so good already. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more, just so it has a little bit more sauce with it. So let me put a little bit more in. I just love the idea of these little meatballs in here. It's a nice little surprise. Okay, that's perfect. All right. So we got this all combined. So we're going to put this over here. Put my lid over here. This is our filling. And now I'm going to bring my eggplant over, and we're going to get started making this. So here's the eggplant. And you want to set your oven at about 350 degrees. And like I said, it's for about 20-25 minutes. You can serve this warm as soon as it comes out of the oven. You can also serve it cold. It tastes great cold. Okay, so what you want to do is Start with the big end going in there. So I'm going to put it in here, and I want to have enough overlapping it. So I have it in the bowl, and I have enough of it to overlap. That's why you want to fry it lightly. You want it to be able to like move like that. So we're going to cover this whole bowl. And like I said, see how I have this one little piece here, and I'm like, oh, how am I going to use this? You're going to see how we're going to use this. And that's one thing I like about cooking. You don't have to be precise baking. You have to be so precise with your measurements. We can fool around with this, and nobody's going to know. And one thing I used to laugh at all the time, my mom was such a stickler, and every time she'd come to visit, she's like, oh my gosh, Anna Marie, you are making something for company that you've never made before. I said, yeah, what's the big deal, Ma? She goes, well, what are they going to say? I'm going to say, they're not going to say anything. They've never tried it before. So do the same thing. How are they going to know what it's supposed to taste like if they've never tried it before? So if I make a mistake, they're not going to know. But she just thought that was terrible. Okay, so this one I'm putting here, and we've got this one, and this one. I'm not sure if I fried this one or not. I don't know, but we're just going to put it in just for the sake. I don't think I fried that one, but it feels like it's got oil on it, so maybe I did. Okay, so I want you to see how this looks. So now I'm going to put one more piece, which is going to be this one. And now, remember I told you how we had these little extra pieces? I'm going to fill that in, put this one here, and here's my other one. So here's the inside of what the tambali looks like. That's all the eggplants that's fried. You've got the breadcrumbs on the outside. And now I'm going to take my pasta, and I'm just going to fill this. And you can get creative. Oh, I know, I just thought of something that I forgot. I want to put some cheese in here. You can use whatever you want. This is a little bit of peppercorn romano, so I'm just going to shave some of this in here. You could use some sharp provolone, you could use some mozzarella. I just love the flavor of this. So we're going to get this all stirred to combine. And let's put a little bit on here since we forgot it. I love cheese. That's one of my downfalls. I love cheese. Just could eat it all the time. Okay. And just press this down as you're putting it in. And you know what? I have some extra pasta left over, and that's okay. I'll save that for something else. Okay, so press this all around. Just want to get it all in there. I'll give you one more. Okay. Now's the fun part. So take all those pieces that were overlapped, okay, and just start to go over. You want to cover that penne, okay? Doesn't have to be perfect, because when this comes out of the oven, I'm going to flip it. So now this is what it looks like. I've covered all of my penne with the eggplant that was overlapping the bowl. And it's not perfect, and doesn't have to be, because this is going to be like an upside down cake. I'm going to flip it when it comes out. So I'm going to set my oven to 350 degrees. We're going to place this in the oven. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I wanted to show you the final product. This is so cool. Look how nice this looks. So there's all the breadcrumbs from that was on the outside of the pan, the inside of that glass pan. There's all my eggplant. Doesn't that look beautiful? I think this is so pretty to serve. So we're going to cut into it so you can see it. And I wanted to remind you, set your oven at 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes, because really the eggplant's cooked, the pasta's cooked. We just want to warm this through. Okay, so let's cut into this. Doesn't that look pretty? It's so nice. It's going to look so pretty for your company too. So of course we got to just try it, make sure that it's okay. Get a little eggplant, a little pasta. This is so good. You are going to love this. This is so good. And listen, If you ever need anything, our recipes are on with the show. You can write to me or like our Facebook page, Anna Marie's Euro Kitchen. So I hope you enjoyed today's show, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
But it's your kitchen and it's everybody's kitchen.